Thank you for joining us. In our ongoing series on tourism and culture, our special show today is about Toronto, the major Canadian city on Lake Ontario, and the most dynamic multicultural city in the world. It's a vibrant, big-time city of festivals, concerts, and culture, and some of the world's finest restaurants and hotels. To tell us more about life in Toronto, we have the owner of the Windsor Arms Hotel, Mr. Michael Friedman. He will be joining us after these messages.
Life Extension magazine brings you new discoveries in health and anti-aging. Our science-based research and supplements are so advanced they're many years ahead of the medical mainstream, with quality control standards that exceed FDA mandates. Life Extension has covered groundbreaking medical research for more than 35 years. For your health and future, you deserve the best. Learn more at lifeextension.com.
The space to dream, to create, to build. Any room in your home can become a comfortable space that's all your own. With a Carrier ductless system, there's simply nothing more efficient. With comfort controls you can set with your smartphone, filters for cleaner, fresher air, and humidity settings that are easy to adjust. It's just one more way Carrier helps make you comfortable, however you define it. Carrier, turn to the experts.
When I was young, it seemed that life was so wonderful. A miracle, oh it was beautiful, magical. And then they showed me a world where I could be so dependable. Oh, intellectual, cynical.
Find magic again. Sprout by HP. With Intel RealSense technology inside, now you can bend the rules of creativity outside.
With us now is Michael Friedman, General Manager of the Windsor Arms Hotel in this fabulous city, Toronto. A real pleasure to have you with us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for inviting us.
Absolutely.
You know, I was thinking this is an incredible city, Toronto, one of the most famous in the world, beautiful. And your hotel, among these skyscrapers, is known to be like a home away from home. It is a high-end, beautiful facility and very unique. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we're one of the original luxury hotels in Toronto, dating all the way back to 1927 when the building was originally built. In 1999, my family, bought the building, rebuilt it completely from scratch. There are some cues to the original building, such as the facade, the front archways, some of the fireplaces within the dining rooms, but everything was totally redone in '99. But we definitely have more of that, neo-Gothic, genuine, old-school sort of architectural feel to both the inside and the outside. We really want to hit home that we have our niche, and that's why so many people will look to us rather than the chains that now exist in Toronto. When this building was built in 1999, the only luxury hotel brand in Toronto was the Four Seasons, because that also started here. But things like the Ritz, the Shangri-La, the Trump. There's now a Nobu Hotel coming to Toronto.
So large and so impersonal.
And they're 300, 400, 500 room hotels. They're of that 5-star luxury brand, but those are all constructed within the last 5 to 6 years. And I think that speaks a lot to both what Toronto brings from a tourism perspective and the demand for people staying in Toronto, because if there wasn't the demand for that kind of hospitality that really has developed over the last 5 or 6 years, those buildings wouldn't be here.
Michael, before we started talking, I took a walk through the hotel, and I'm really impressed with the atmosphere, the decor. It's really spectacular. You have a pool, you have a spa, you have these beautiful dining areas. Tell us about the hotel.
Yeah, so the Windsor Arms is a 28-room all-suite hotel. It's unlike any other hotel in the city, especially given its suite layouts, where you typically expect a hotel, 70% will be your standard king double rooms that you'll find in most hotels. We only have about 10% of those. And most of them are one bedrooms, expansive, oversized, 750 square foot suites. And that really, falls in line with who we cater to the hotel to. And that middle upper echelon of clientele that will value having that extra space, having that privacy, and having that really expansive feeling when they walk into their room. But as I said, there's 28 suites. There's 9 different types of rooms. So we have rooms starting at 550 feet all the way up to 1,500 feet for our presidential Windsor suite. And on top of that, we do have many different dining options here at the Windsor Arms. We have a world-famous high tea, which is served both in the afternoon and in the evening in one of our 3 different tea rooms. And we're definitely one of the original high teas in the city, truly British-style high tea. And we serve it every day, Monday through Sunday, 3 times with 3 seatings every day.
I must partake because I was born in London, and I really just love.
We'll have you there tomorrow. Absolutely, let me know when. But on top of that, we have our restaurant called the Gatsby. That's a brand new restaurant with a brand new chef. We just launched that a couple months ago, and we're really excited for that. And then we have our kosher restaurant on top of that.
And you are located in a prime part of this amazing city.
We love where we're located. We have all the facilities you need to come visit us. We have our valet parking, so coming downtown doesn't have to be all that intimidating. We're 50 meters from one of the busiest streets in the city, but you walk down and it's like you're in a private neighborhood.
And Condé Nast has you on top.
For the last 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years.
This is all very interesting, and I understand that Toronto has really bloomed a lot in the tourism industry in the last 5, 10 years especially. What is unique about Toronto?
I think what's truly unique about Toronto is how multicultural it is. It is widely known that Toronto is one of, if not the most multicultural city in the world, because you have the immigrants coming through over the last 50, 60 years that have nestled in Toronto, stayed in Toronto, now raised their families in Toronto, and then you have the millennials that are sort of my generation that are come from immigrant families but are born here, so they're very comfortable with creating their own, being comfortable in their economy and their society, but have their niche of where they come from, bring that to the table and bring that to the business world that exists in Toronto. And with Toronto being so vast and so expansive, there's little niches of communities surrounding each culture throughout the city. And what that really brings is a lot of tourism coming to visit those specific areas, and then finding out Toronto has so much more to offer in terms of everyone. And especially with that rise in those kind of communities, you have a lot of more housing developments going up, which drives a lot of people that choose to come to Canada to come to Toronto because there's a ton of opportunity for them here. And that just drives the corporate society. And now you have conventions that would typically be held in Las Vegas or LA, Miami, that are now looking at Toronto as a place to be held. And we have a very booming corporate society here surrounded around the downtown core that really drives business throughout the city. And I think that really has developed over the last 5 or 6 years, for many different reasons, economy, where Canada has been viewed on the global map, but really because of how multicultural this city is.
Tell us about the tourist attractions in this general area.
So where we are here is Yorkville. It's probably one of the highest end areas of the city. Is the equivalent of, Fifth Avenue in New York. It's got all your high-end boutique shops, and definitely some amazing dining opportunities. So where we are here, you're really looking for the culture, the shopping, the dining. We're about 5 minutes from Lake Ontario, which is the southmost end point of the city, where you'll find, the sporting arenas, the Rogers Centre, the Air Canada Centre, and things like, what we're most probably known for is the CN Tower, which is for 25, 30, 40 years was the highest freestanding building in the world.
Yeah, we were staring at it on the way in from the airport, and we flew in with Air Canada and enjoyed a business class trip thanks to Air Canada. And it's a great airline and a great city, and this hotel is really spectacular. I was thinking that one of our main sponsors would prefer this hotel for VIP high-end meetings, because you have a boardroom like this and other rooms in this hotel that are really conducive to private, kind of intense VIP or relaxed meetings. And I need to introduce you to our main sponsor one of these days.
Absolutely, I'd love to do that. But yeah, the true niche about the Windsor Arms is the intimacy of the whole, home away from home concept, which is we have all the facilities, we have all the amenities of a large hotel and the people to back those amenities, but we're only tailoring to at most 28 rooms. So the staff to guest ratio is the highest in the city because of that. Additionally, we definitely value privacy for our guests. So what we do have in our rooms is something called the butler's pantry. That is a place for your morning newspaper, your morning coffee, your morning breakfast. If you don't want to be disturbed in the morning, but you want your breakfast served at 7 a.m., it's there waiting for you. And that is something that's really unique in terms of what we can offer that no other hotel in the city offers, because we have that staff to guest ratio and because of the two-door system in it where the staff can access it from the outside without even going into the room. They turn on a light and you get a notification in your room saying there's something in here for you. You access it from inside the room. You don't even have to put your clothes on to eat your breakfast.
Thinking of privacy and security and so forth, and such things that are important to many VIPs. For example, the Consulate General of Israel told me about this hotel, and they like it as well, as I do. Just discovered it. So tell us about some of your clientele, if you can.
So we definitely tailor to the upper echelon of clientele, because of the privacy, because of the rate, and because of many other factors. We're a popular destination for movie stars, people that really, really value utmost privacy and not being seen, not being bothered. One of the real catering features of this hotel, especially to the Jewish community, is we have a 5-day-a-week full a la carte kosher restaurant to supplement our regular restaurant. And what that brings is a lot of the high-end Jewish clientele that there really is no other option in the city for them in terms of getting high-end meat dinners, because most of the kosher restaurants in the city are dairy restaurants, and it's a real shame because we have, I think the second highest Jewish population outside of Israel and New York, with slightly over 400,000 Jews in the city, but there are very, very few places that can offer full, regular, a la carte kosher dining, and that's something we certainly value the privilege of doing.
In this high-end ambiance as well.
It's certainly a pleasure for us to do, and it's something we'd like to do to give back to that community, because it's certainly something we're a part of. So along with the restaurants we have here at the Windsor Arms, we have an extensive banquet facility that we have the privilege of hosting many charities, including many of the hospitals in the city, whether it's fundraisers, dinners for their employees, and it's a real opportunity to get to listen to the head of heart surgery at Toronto General Hospital, Heather Ross, speak, or the heads of Mount Sinai here in Toronto, just share their opinion. It doesn't really matter what it is. It's truly a privilege to be able to host them here at the Windsor Arms.
Absolutely, and also, speaking of health, one of our main sponsors happens to be Bill Faloon, the co-founder of Life Extension Foundation, and they are in the forefront of medical research and anti-aging. And he wrote this book, Pharmocracy. He wanted me to give it to you.
Thank you very much.
And he actually would like to meet in a venue like this, some top scientists for a 3-4 day event for discussions on stem cell research, age reversal, and so forth. So this could be a perfect venue for him.
We'd love to have him, and we have many different options depending on how many attendees he has, and it's certainly something we're very familiar with doing, these sort of staycation or retreats to local destinations, but for knowledge and wellness purposes.
Absolutely. If I may ask you, tell us about your background. How did you get into the hotel business?
So, as I sort of mentioned at the start, my family has been in this business since 1994. This hotel has always been my second home. So when I say I live at work, I truly live at work. But
always was my dream. I always wanted actually to, maybe I should make a carbon copy of this building and put it on the beach in North Florida.
And that might be a little bit nicer in terms of what you get when you step outside, but this place, it's always been my home away from home.
Well, Florida is too hot, and this is absolutely lovely. Yeah. This is a beautiful place to call home away from home. And here you are in this very large Jewish community, and of course this is a cosmopolitan city embracing people of many cultures. But speaking of the Jewish community again, how do you see the relationship between the Jewish community here and in Israel?
Honestly, there's a ton of religious Jewish people in this city, and I think those opportunities would only exist if there was truly the demand for it amongst the society, amongst the community. And what's really nice about the city is that it's a very tight-knit core. So you'll have boroughs, you have the Jewish neighborhoods, and it's not crime-ridden because of the nature of Toronto. Everyone accepts everyone, and I think that really gives an opportunity for the Jewish society to grow here. You can't say that about everywhere.
That's true, and it's wonderful to have a cosmopolitan city like this. Back to this hotel, though, I understand, I'm not going to ask you to give names, but I understand that many important leaders, politicians, have also chosen to have a private environment and be in your hotel. Tell us about that.
So we've had a lot of the upper echelon political gatherings here at the Windsor Arms. We've had Shimon Peres speak here. We've had Bill Clinton speak here. And I don't think they would necessarily feel as comfortable anywhere else in the city because of how small, how tight, how responsive this building can be to the needs of any client.
Now, you've met Shimon Peres, I'm sure, and in fact I interviewed him a few times. What an amazing leader he was, what a part of Israel's history. So what are your thoughts with regard to the future of this hotel and cultural events that are going to take place in the near future?
I think it's still something we still love to do. As I said, with the kosher restaurant, that's not something we do for business purposes. It's something we do for societal purposes, and it's something we take pleasure in doing. If I'm going to be completely honest, from a purely business perspective, there's a reason we're the only ones doing it. If it made sense from financially, fiscally, there'd be more than one option. Unfortunately, the society doesn't really demand it, but there's enough of the society that does that we wanted to fill those that did.
It's a family hotel with a family room, and it's a very heartwarming place to visit and do business in and just luxuriate in.
Mm-hmm. Every person matters. It's not whether you're Bill Clinton or Joe off the street, you're treated the same, and you're treated with utmost respect and utmost class, and as if everyone's a VIP here at the Windsor Arms. It's not always about making money. It's about what are we doing for the community and what are we doing for the society. And because of who we are, where we come from, the Jewish religion is certainly an important part of that.
Especially at this time in history, as always throughout the millennia. Michael, it's such a pleasure to sit with a young gentleman like you, so involved with the community and in the business and hospitality affairs of this city. A real pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'll be right back.
On the northern shore of Lake Ontario, near the U.S. border, lies Canada's largest city. Toronto is the capital of the province of Ontario and is a major economic and cultural centre for the country. Founded as York by the British in the late 1700s, Toronto is now a proudly Canadian city, and nearly 6 million people call the Greater Toronto Area home. The megacity attracts people from all over the world, and neighborhoods such as Chinatown, Greektown, and Little Italy are just some examples of Toronto's diversity. Nearly everywhere you go, you can catch a glimpse of the city's iconic CN Tower, one of the 7 wonders of the modern world. Architecture meets art in the Art Gallery of Ontario, designed by the groundbreaking Toronto-born architect Frank Gehry, who used to visit the original gallery as a child. No less impressive, but from a different era altogether, is the elegant hilltop castle, Castle Loma. It was dreamt up a century ago by the ambitious Sir Henry Pellet, whose family motto was, "Foremost if I can." This motto perfectly reflects the spirit of the Torontonians in what is nicknamed the city that works. The entrepreneurial Canadians also know how to relax. Take a stroll in one of Toronto's many green spaces, such as the Edward Gardens and High Park. Families, couples, and students share the botanical displays with the curious chipmunks. Near the waterfront, Toronto's rejuvenated distillery district mixes the old with the new in a tasteful way. One of the most striking contemporary twists to a historic building is the design of the Royal Ontario Museum. Browse the galleries with artifacts of Canada's Aboriginal peoples and depictions of the country's past. Then see artworks from across the globe and explore the nature exhibits. Overlooking Lake Ontario is modern Canada Square, a cultural hub in the heart of the award-winning Harbourfront Centre. Relax a while in the centre's pleasant marina, or visit a theatre or brew house. Sports fans can catch a game in Rogers Centre or visit the nearby Hockey Hall of Fame. First-timers are often surprised by the size of Toronto, which is North America's 4th largest city. Dundas Square, the downtown end of Yonge Street, is reminiscent of New York's Times Square. Find designer brands in the Eaton Centre, or shop in the city's huge underground mall called The Path. A different shopping experience altogether are the vintage clothes stores at the Kensington Market. This central neighborhood represents the funky anything-goes side of Toronto. When it's time for lunch, try Italian or Greek food, or a typical Hogtown treat. St. Lawrence Market in the heart of the Old Town is the best place to go for fresh produce. Families should check out the Fun Ontario Science Centre or visit Toronto's exciting entertainment parks. See the bears take a nap or take a splash in the Toronto Zoo and meet Snoopy and his friends in Canada's Wonderland. Don't leave Ontario before taking a day trip to Niagara Falls. The largest of them all, the Horseshoe Falls, sits on the border with New York State. Each year, millions of people come to watch this spectacle, an experience you'll never forget. The falls are the perfect finale to your Toronto visit.
Carrier asks, what does comfort mean to you? Is it a cool breeze on a scorching day? Or a cozy corner on a cold night? That every room of the house is as inviting as the next. And the air is fresh and clean for everyone. That humidity is where it belongs. At Carrier, comfort means more than just the temperature. And the people who invented modern air conditioning keep inventing new ways to make you comfortable, however you define it.
Human age reversal. We may be there already. Human studies are now ready to begin to confirm meaningful reversal of pathological aging processes. These clinical trials aim to alter older humans so that they function as much younger individuals. Even modest success will result in a paradigm shift that will impart enormous societal benefits, such as sparing Medicare from insolvency. Life extension is not standing idle while 5,000 Americans die each day from age-related illnesses. Joining us are physician scientists who want to hurry up these technologies to keep people from aging to death. While life extension is pushing these projects forward, we need financial help to ensure these studies are carried through to fruition.
This concludes our special show for today. I'm Maya Brandt, and thank you for being with us.